Debra. Yo, what's up, guys? Ash Cash, the financial motivator, and you are now tuned in to the Blowing Bubbles podcast. Guess what, y'all? Stay popping. Let's go.
What's up? What's up? What's poppin'? Welcome to another edition of BBP Live at 8:45. Hey, y'all. We are live on YouTube and Facebook. Make sure you share. Deborah, if you could go to your Facebook and make sure that your family and friends get this, you can share it to your page.
I just did.
Awesome. Let me check
So
my
let's
settings
see.
too. I want to make sure
Hmm.
everyone is able to see it. I think last week my person that I talked to last week, his family and friends couldn't see it. For some reason, Facebook had me very restricted.
Uh-oh.
Hey everybody, welcome. It's a couple people on here. Welcome. Let's go. This is gonna be a good one. I can't wait. I'm on my devices. I'm making sure that as many people as possible are tapped in. So give us a minute. We are going to start talking. This is going to be an amazing conversation. I cannot wait. Ooh. Let me see. Edit privacy. I did not have it public. Bam. Okay. I don't know why that is. I have to go change my settings. So now everybody, you can share. All of your friends and family will be able to see this. You don't want to miss this one. I'm telling you now, you don't want to miss this one. Let's go. I'm going to do something that I like never do this. First of all, jump in those comments and let me know where you are watching from. And make sure, do not forget about the YouTube channel. Subscribe. There's some dope content that I do not cover on live. I got a lot of great interviews on the YouTube channel, and we are pre recording episodes now. So make sure that you are tuning in. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a beat, because I'm telling you, I got some great content coming, and we're going to be doing some giveaways. Okay. Because we keep it popping. All right. Oh my goodness. Let me see if there's anybody on YouTube. So I have to juggle multiple devices just so I can keep up with who's where and doing what. Anybody who's interested in podcast production and you just kind of want to like help us out, help is needed. Okay. Okay. Love you. Mean it. Yes, we are most definitely in need of some production assistance. So help your girl out. All right. I really would appreciate it. And when I grow, we grow together. Okay. No one left behind. Oh my gosh. Without further ado, I want to introduce to you the lovely, the intelligent, the talented, the passionate Debra B. Hamilton. Hi,
Woo!
Deborah. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. I'm great. Happy to be here.
Thank you for joining me. Oh my goodness. So Deborah and I are a part of I'll call it a mastermind group. I'll leave it at that. We have some interesting Zoom calls in our group.
Yes,
My
we
brain
do.
fries every week. Oh my goodness. How you doing today, Queen?
I am great. I'm great. I have no complaints. I'm happy. Like I said, I'm just happy to be here. Happy to talk to people.
Awesome. So y'all, Deborah, I call her the wife whisperer because ladies, listen, I so love her mission and her passion and her work that she is doing and has been doing for many years. Even before she made it a business, she's been doing this thing for many years. She is coaching wives. Okay. So all of you ladies who want to be wives, once you get there, you got to maintain that thing. It's not just about the wedding, right?
Mhm.
So we want to make sure that you stay married and stay in a healthy marriage. Okay,
Right. That's right.
man. So tell us, how did you become? You have a program called Nurture Your Love. How did you become this expert in marriage? What made you realize that you had something more of a business than just talking to friends and family?
Well, once I realized how I was actually reaching my friends and family and how I was really helping them, it was actually my sister's friend who said I should really do this professionally, because I had a lot to offer. And there's so many women out here, especially married women, who are struggling trying to figure out the dynamics of marriage. And I just want you guys to know that I have over 40 years of marriage experience behind me. So I know what it's like to have those ups and downs and all around. So that I wanted to bring my knowledge and my God given ability, because I feel like Jehovah God has given me this ability to be able to help people, and specifically married women. So I took the advice and I decided to do it professionally, and I've been loving it ever since.
Wonderful. Now, what made you zero in on just married women and not all women?
I decided to do married women because I think that they are the ones that really hold the family together, right? Like we're always trying to come up with suggestions and tips as far as how to maintain our relationship, how to take care of the kids, how to work and do all those things. And I'm focused on keeping marriages together. And so I went with the married women because they're more receptive to being willing to understand what it takes and being open to finding out more of how they can be better in their relationship. So that's what made me focus on married women.
Got it. Got it. And have you had any instances where it was more than you could handle in trying to work with a wife?
Hmm. Hmm. Maybe. And
So
that's
how do you overcome those tough cases?
Well, you focus on the person and why they are having such a hard time being able to take in the knowledge and apply the knowledge, right? And that I think that's the biggest key. I don't want to just give you knowledge. I want you to be able to apply that knowledge. And I want you
Sure.
to feel comfortable in applying that knowledge. So my goal is always to help guide and lead you through your process, but you got to be willing to go through the process, right? Nothing is a quick fix, nothing. So when it comes to marriage, you have to be willing to work through whatever issues you're having. But one of the things that we were talking about, Corona, is about the fact that I specialize in focusing on the individual, the woman, right? I focus on what's going on with her. And I need you to be open minded to be able to look at yourself and see where you need to improve in certain areas. And I also talk about, and we might get into this too, but childhood trauma plays a huge role in a lot of people's relationships.
Absolutely.
And I spend time talking about that because I'm a child of childhood trauma. I grew up in trauma. It affected my first marriage greatly.
Mhm.
And so I know what it's like to have that type of trauma and how it can affect you. So I focus a lot on that as well.
Now, is there ever a point in your journey that you speak to the husbands?
Yes. What in my Married Women's Forum that I have biweekly on Wednesdays,
Mhm.
every fourth session, we invite the men in, and it is absolutely amazing. They have
Oh,
such a
nice.
ball because you know how sometimes you feel like they might be wondering, well, what are they talking about? What's going on, right? So we
Mhm.
invite them in and we share what we've talked about and we get their input. That's what makes this so great, right? We get
That's nice
their
because one
input.
of the main complaints that men have is they don't feel heard. So
Exactly.
getting their input is very, very, very important.
Yes, it is. It is. And that's what makes this so exciting because when we bring them in and we tell them what we discussed and then they tell us what their thoughts are about it. And sometimes they're willing to talk in a group than they are to talk one on one with their wives. So
Yeah.
the wives learn things that they might not learn otherwise, right?
Mhm.
It makes
Nice.
a men so special because it helps them feel comfortable sharing their thoughts about their relationship or about the topic that we're discussing because it's not always about their relationship, it's about the topic sometimes. And it's an environment, it's a safe environment first of all because I don't play it. It's a safe environment and we don't share outside the environment what's being
Mhm.
discussed.
Yeah.
So that makes it easier for people to join it and be a part of it because it's a safe environment. And the men feel the same way, that they feel comfortable in being able to share how they're feeling about certain situations that we discuss. And then we do get into, what's going on with us, and the topic that we could be talking about. Like they might be like, oh, I didn't think about it from that perspective. That's a good idea. I need to try that. So
Nice.
it's all fun.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
And how about children? Do you ever incorporate children who are old enough to articulate what they're feeling?
Um, if there's an issue in the Married Women's Forum where there's questions about children, by all means, yes, because it's open. Like we have a curriculum
Mm.
within the Married Women's Forum. However, if there are issues that someone might be having issues, then we talk about the issues and whatever those issues might be. And so it could be about children, but most of the people that's in my group have adult children, right? Most of them don't have young children, but whatever they need to talk about, the environment allows them to talk about it. If there's issues with their children or whatever, it's open to talk about it.
Nice, nice. Now, do you have a background in counseling or therapy?
Nope. Nope, I do
Just your
not. I've
gift.
taken, I've been to therapy, right? I've been to
Mhm.
therapy, read a lot of psychology today, took a certification class. So, I learned all about being a coach and what that looks like. Um, and it's to me, it's all about experience. I really believe that if you have the experience in a relationship, then you could talk about it because I mean
No
some people
doubt.
could just go to coaches and they are not even married or have the experience. But like I said in the beginning, I have over 40 years of
Oh,
experience
for
being
sure.
married. So that in itself has allowed me to really be able to relate to whatever people are going through right now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of counselors who are licensed practitioners and they haven't been through the things that they're counseling people on. So I don't necessarily and I'm a full don't y'all come for me. I'm a full advocate for therapy. I really am. However, it's not to say that a non-licensed individual can't help you. In the
Exactly.
state of Georgia, we actually have a thing. There's a certified peer counselor here, and it may be you're in Pennsylvania, right?
No, I'm in Delaware.
Delaware, right, right up the street. Yeah.
Yeah.
um, there it may be in that state too. It's becoming more
Hmm.
recognizable because of just what I said. So many people go to school for all these things. Imagine you come out of school or you go through your EAP at work and they assign you to a counselor who's fresh out of school and hasn't been through anything in life but school.
Exactly.
So experience. I alive. My plant. Oh, my plant just fell over with all the
Oh
rocks.
no. Oh no.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry.
oh my goodness. That's funny.
Oh,
Oh man. Hey Maria Wheeler. Hey Derek Brockman. I'm shouting out the people who I see are on Facebook. If there's others on Facebook, I can't see you. If you haven't, hey Pooker, if you haven't joined or given StreamYard permission to access your comments, that is the trick. You have to go to StreamYard.com and give them permission to access your comments for me to see your comments on Facebook. And YouTube, I will see you on YouTube. But hey, I want to make sure everybody is engaged. And if anybody has any questions for, I'm gonna brand her the wife whisperer. If you have any questions for the wife whisperer, I want to
oh,
hear it. Let's have a good conversation. And I want to hear from my men. You know, what things are you not able to say to your wives? What things are you needing that you what do you want to say that you're needing help communicating?
hmm. That's a good
Um,
question.
yeah. So do you have a full curriculum, but what is your timeline like for each program?
Well, right now I'm focusing on the Married Women's Forum. There is
Mhm.
no timeline. It's been going on for 4 years. No, yeah, 4 years.
Okay. And is
Since
it all web based or
2019.
is it in person?
No, it's been online. I started this in 20 when COVID was
Okay.
happening.
Uh-huh. Gotcha.
And we've been going strong ever since. You know, people come in and out, come in and out. So it's all been online, and it's been amazing. Like I said, the women in there are just great. And I had one of a friend that was I was actually shocked because she didn't tell me, but she was thinking about leaving her husband, and she joined the group. And after 3 months, she was like, and she just came out and told everybody that she was planning on leaving her husband. But because
Wow.
of the group, she realized that it was her, that she needed to work on herself. So she stayed. And that makes me feel so
Wow.
good. It makes me feel so good because it means that I'm reaching these wonderful women,
Absolutely.
So yeah, my curriculum changes, but this year, for the past couple of months, we've been working in a book that I wrote, the intimate journal that I workbook that I created.
Hmm.
And it's been amazing because we've been talking about intimacy, but there's so many different levels of intimacy before you even get to the sex part that people don't understand.
Definitely.
Yeah. So
Definitely. Let's
tonight
let's
we
go
talk
there.
about.
Let's go there.
Okay.
Hi, mommy. I see my mom just joined.
Right when
Oh,
we going there, right?
well, let's go there. So, mom, la 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 la. Let's talk
Oh,
about that. So
God.
you wrote this, you created this journal workbook,
Yeah.
the intimacy journal, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a
Okay.
workbook for married women to rediscover passion and intimacy. And what we talked about tonight was nurturing emotional bonds and intimacy. So go ahead with your questions.
Yeah. So what was the biggest inspiration for this specific work, that book?
I wrote the book because first of all, we don't understand true intimacy, and I'm an advocate for women to really get to know their bodies, to get to know what they want, what they need, right? So
Mhm.
that was the impetus for me writing this book, this workbook that I created to help women first to understand what true intimacy is and what it isn't, and all the things that you need to do before you even get to the bedroom. So um,
Mhm.
And I've talked about intimacy for a long time and all the different things that you can do to create that intimacy in your relationship. But I really wanted to outline it in a workbook to for them to be able to look at it, go back to it, and understand not only my words, but actually be able to take it in to be able to apply it. So it's
Nice.
in there, and I'm just so excited about it because it's resonating.
Nice. And so I want to give a shout out to a couple more guys jumped in. Stacy Galloway, hey, J4G, what's up, my brothers? Um, and these are men. It's a few men on here. I want to
All
make
right.
sure if you all have any questions, anything you would like to say. Um, we are talking about relationships, true intimacy, marriage. This is I've called her the wife whisperer. If there's
That's gonna be my podcast name. You keep saying it. That's gonna be my podcast.
I mean, it just makes sense. She is coaching married women. Have you given yourself a title though? I mean, it just makes sense to me.
No, I'm a love coach for married women.
Love
That's
coach for married women. Okay,
that's
I've
right.
rebranded her. She has her own brand, and I just say wife whisper.
I'm
So
gonna use it for real. Actually, let me take notes, right? Wife whisper.
So just so you know, I do that. I have been on phone calls and talking to friends and just random people, and they'll say something, and I'll get an idea, and I'll just say it. Then years later, I'll see them. They're like, "Oh my goodness, that thing you said, I did that, and it worked, and this is my business now." Telling you, I just get ideas. I'm an idea machine. Hey, Jay. Um, Yes. So feel free, please, y'all, share. I want as many people as possible to see this. And hold your book up for us, Deborah, so that they can see the book.
My latest book is Unspoken Words: How Unresolved Conflicts Can Erode a Lifetime of Love.
Ooh, that subtitle, How Unresolved Conflicts Can Erode a Lifetime of Love. Ooh,
Yep,
let that
yep.
breathe.
It's good. It's good. Yeah. And
Listen,
this
that
is
sounds like residue. Ooh.
well, it's part of what happened, what how my previous marriage ended. And I talk about that, and I talk about ways in which we can prevent that from happening. So it's all about my ex-husband being resentful and what he took me through. So if I'm allowed to talk about it,
Talk about that.
um,
Look, so
okay,
the you are a coach of married women, and part of your experience is not just having longevity in marriage, but you also had a marriage that did not survive.
exactly.
And that you were a 34-year married veteran,
Yep,
marriage veteran, and that marriage ended. That's a very long time.
it
Most would
is.
say y'all made it over the hump.
Well,
Wh-
I thought so.
So, and you feel like you had issues that were unresolved, or both of
Well,
you were, from your perspective, what was the breakdown in a 34-year marriage?
okay. Something shocking. Went on a cruise. I just give you a little background. Okay, we were on a cruise with my parents, right?
Mhm.
And I was kind of sick while we were on the cruise. I have what's called interstitial cystitis, and it causes severe pain in the bladder area, right?
Mhm.
Um, so I was not feeling well on the cruise, and he wanted me to go see the ship's captain, and I mean doctor, and I didn't want to go because I was like, no, I want my own doctors to examine me and see what's going on with me, right? So we did that. No, so after we got off the cruise, we got home. I asked him if he would go to the hospital with me because it got really bad by the time we got off the plane and got home and everything. He just looked at me. He didn't say anything. And I'm like, what is going on? So I wound up going to the hospital, bent over in pain all by myself. And then well, he had to come pick me up because they had given me morphine. And we get in the car and I'm like, what is going on? Why are you acting this way? This don't make no sense to me. I would never send you to the hospital in pain, whatever. And he just blurted out, I want a divorce. I want separation. And I'm like,
Wait, what?
right? What? Does this
We
conversation
go
negate
from emergency room to divorce court? Like what?
girl? So it went downhill from there. And one of the things that I write about is about resentment. He had built up so much resentment that he couldn't see anything else but his resentment, and I talk about it throughout the book. I talk about how he spent 6 months telling me what a horrible person I was, and
Wow.
um, how, you know, I survived it and moved
Of course you
on.
did. Amazing. You
And,
survived that.
and I
What
am
do you
like,
think was the source of his resentment? Was it true? Was there a true source, or he was carrying some residue of his own that
well, first
that
of all, just let
manifested
me
as
say
frustration with you?
this. Let me just say this. We both grew up with childhood trauma.
Mhm.
Okay. And I learned through therapy, excuse me, let me drink some water. I'm so sorry.
No, no problem. Easy.
I learned through therapy that I was causing problems because I went to therapy twice. But the first time I went, I found out that I was causing problems in the marriage because I didn't have control as a child. So I had to have control as an adult. But when you're going
Mm,
through those processes, you don't even know it. You don't even know why you are the way you are, right?
mhm,
So my controlling did affect my marriage, and it actually did affect my children because everything had to be a certain way.
mhm,
However, as time went on, I learned my triggers. I learned to catch myself and apologize when I realized I was showing controlling behavior, right?
mhm,
But his issue was he never felt like he could share his thoughts, right, about how he was feeling, which was really sad to me because I really did ask him often, what was going on, how was he feeling, what did he think of the marriage, how could we improve in our marriage, whatever. But he really didn't go into a lot of detail. He wouldn't talk about it. So it was just 30 years of bent up resentment that just caused him to blow up. And like I said, I spent 6 months dealing with this, and we went to one session, and it was interesting how that turned out. But it's all in my book. The book, just like I said, it's all about my story, how my marriage ended, and it has like suggestions and tips in there about what you could do to prevent it from happening to you. And also I recommend therapy. If you're dealing with trauma, if you're dealing with resentment or conflict in your relationship, you might need therapy. And
mm,
therapy can truly help. And I wish that my ex-husband would have gone because it would have helped him to be able to express himself
mhm.
and not feel like he had to keep it all inside. And because he kept it inside, that was the demise of our marriage. It
Now,
destroyed.
did you all try, like, discuss going to therapy before the "I want a divorce" blurb?
We went to therapy years before that, right? So when he blurted that out, I was
Mhm.
totally oblivious, totally did not expect him to feel that way because I didn't know that we had issues because I'm thinking we had a good time on the cruise.
Yeah, that's kind
So it
of a
was
blind
such a
side.
shock, right? It was such a shock that when you're on a cruise, you're having a good time, and this is what happens when you get off the ship. I was like, what? So
I've been on about
um
20 cruises. I've never had that happen. I'm
and this
sorry to
was
make
like
light
our
of.
third or
Yeah, no, there
13th
was
cruise
something.
at
He
the
went
time.
on that cruise with something. That was
Yeah,
already
yeah.
there.
It was already there. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
already there. I just wasn't aware of it. That's the whole point. I wasn't aware of it. So that was the surprise and the shock to me. So
Ooh, I can imagine. I seen, well, I lived it before, where going um trying to get marital counseling, and the day that we were to go for our first session, he said, "There's nothing wrong with me. You're the one that's crazy. You go to counseling." And he didn't go.
yeah,
He didn't go. So,
yeah.
oh well. I want to give a shout out. We got a few more people on here. Hey, Cherie. Stacy. All right. Thank you for tuning in. Give me a share before you get off, man. Please and thank you. Hey, everybody on YouTube. Um, yeah, that is so shocking. That really is shocking. Now, did you have, how long after that night when he picked you up from the hospital to the divorce? How much time passed between there?
Oh, well, it was like 6 months that, how can I put this? I thought we could talk it through, but every time I tried to, like, he would tell me how he felt, and I was trying to acknowledge how he felt. And every time I went to go and respond, he wouldn't let me. He kept saying, I'm not done, I'm not finished. So I got to the point where I didn't say anything. So after
Mhm.
about 6 months, he said it again. Like, because I had told him, I had to deal with this as a child with the arguing and all this other stuff. I'm not dealing with it now. So if you keep saying it, one of us got to go. So he said it again. He wanted a divorce. I was like, no problem. I'm out. I couldn't, I mean, full disclosure, we were living in a really nice house. I couldn't afford the house. I had already retired from work. So I could not afford the house. So I moved out. That was the best thing for me. I moved out.
Mhm.
And then we spent 3 years after that trying to work it out, right? So it wasn't like a quick divorce or anything like
Mhm.
that. I was trying to work through it, work it out, and everything, and um, it just it didn't work out. It takes two people to work out things,
Absolutely.
and he
Absolutely.
wasn't willing. His resentment was so bad and so strong that
Mm.
he couldn't see beyond the resentment and the anger.
Mm. And
So
how old were your children at the time?
they were adults.
Okay.
They were
Now,
grown. They were all out the
and
house.
sometimes adult children take divorce even harder.
My son
Did
did.
they
I found out
show?
later my son did. Yeah,
Mm.
my son took it
Yeah.
really hard. But I think my son took it hard for selfish reasons, though. So,
Hmm. Hey,
uh,
Janine. Okay. A lot of times, especially adult children, have this romanticized idea of relationships when they think their parents have the ideal marriage, and then it's like a shock to them, and then they begin to resent marriage.
mhm.
And I've seen it over and over again. Well, my parents were married this long and they fell apart, so I'll never do this. And and it's an unfortunate trauma that adults get hit with when they're like, they think they're going to be coming home to grandma and grandpa's with their babies for the foreseeable future. And so it is a shock to the grown children as well.
Mhm. It is. It is.
So how are you all um friendly now? You or you can't really have any interaction, you and your
No, when we see each
ex-husband?
other, we talk to each other.
Cordial, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, we're cordial. When we see each other, we talk. He's close to my family, so he spends time with them. Um, like I said, 34 years, and we dated for two before we got married. So
A
I'm okay with
lifetime.
it. Yeah, yeah, we grew up together. Honestly, we did. We grew up together. So
Yeah.
yeah, he's
Well,
been a
I'm
part of
glad
my
to hear
family.
that.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that, because you'll have common grandchildren, and family. You, my family is like that. We like we don't get divorced just because y'all did.
Right, right. And you shouldn't. You shouldn't. I
Yeah,
just
my mom and dad have everybody confused. Like, wait a minute, what? Who's that's that? Y'all? Yep. Yeah. Yes. I love that though. I'm glad that that you are now in a much better, healthier situation. So, how long before you met the new Mister?
well, let's see. My story is interesting because my husband is my brother-in-law's best friend. So when I was living in
Brother-in-laws.
Ohio, I would come and visit my sister.
Okay.
And my husband would be over there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we met each other like 3 times, and only thing we ever said to each other was hi and bye, like hi, how you doing, and nothing else, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then one year I stayed for 2 weeks, and we were just hanging out, and it was Fourth of July weekend, and we were hanging out, and it was like the first time we actually had a conversation, and it was like, oh, okay. Didn't think anything of it, went back to Ohio, and during this process, I was separated, and um, I was trying to figure out what I was going to do. And my sister and them were like, you need to come and move here with us. And I was like, I think I need a clean slate, So I came and moved here. And then as time went on, I got to know him better, and one thing led to another. And we found out we had so much in common. And, he was previously married, and we talked about everything about what we wanted in a relationship, what we didn't want in a relationship, So it just turned out to be the best decision ever made moving here. So
Oh,
yeah.
nice. I'm keep up with the comments. My mother said like Mike and my Uncle Lewis. So, um, my mother's um my stepdad and my father's brothers were like you couldn't tell my dad had all these brothers. You couldn't tell my stepdad that he was not a hosey boy. Like him and my Uncle Lewis, they were like fishing buddies. My uncle stayed with my mom and him. I mean, it was just like the family was so and that's just like one of the instances. My family is super duper duper tight and close on all sides. Like everybody is blended. Like everybody is blended. My my mother's like my stepmother's children call my mother mommy.
Mm.
So
Nice.
it's like we
Nice.
don't and that's something that I'm so thankful for. I demand that type of cohesiveness
Hmm.
at the bare minimum. You don't have to be just like my family, all blended and happy family like that, but we are not doing the drama, the fighting and all that. That's like a whole red flag for me.
Yeah,
I'm not
I
doing
hear
it.
you.
I'm
I
not
hear you.
doing
Like
it.
I said before, my ex-husband loves my family, so he's at more. He used to be at more events than I was. So and but I really appreciated that. Like I never said to my family, don't associate with him or whatever, because
Mm.
just like you, we have other family members that were dating or married, and we still associate with all those people. Like we don't treat them any
Yeah.
different. So that's what I wanted for him. And like I said, they invite him to things, and it's great. I have one of the things that I learned is um, you have to give people forgiveness and grace. You just have to.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
I every time that word comes up, I tell people what is on my whiteboard and I'm looking at it. Love yourself enough to forgive those who hurt you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Forgiveness is for you, not the other person. I
So
live by
true.
that. I live by that. I
Mhm.
live by that. And
I do too.
it wasn't, I can admit it wasn't that long ago because it's on my whiteboard right now. So I didn't have that download all that long ago. There's been a lot of things that I carried around unnecessarily.
Mhm.
and folks will
Mhm.
go on with their lives, and you walking around still mad about it.
Girl, tell me about it. I learned that years ago. I really did. And it's like, I don't have time. I don't want any drama. I just feel like you need to go and be happy. Just be happy.
Absolutely.
I'm happy. I want you to be happy, right? So I
Yeah.
don't have any resentment towards him. I want him to be happy. I want him to be find the person that's gonna love him the way he needs to be loved. That's my hope and wish for him. So
Mhm.
what we had, and it's over, and I don't regret it because I feel like I learned and grew so much from it, you
Mm.
know.
Now,
So
if you hadn't gone through that, you probably wouldn't be ready for your current husband.
that is true. That is true. But throughout my marriage, my previous marriage, I was constantly working on myself, constantly working on bettering myself and understanding myself. And that's
Mhm.
why I was able to share so much with other couples and talk to them about, as we were going through our issues. Because don't get me wrong, we had a lot of happy years together, right? It wasn't all bad. And, I don't want people to think that my previous marriage was all bad because it wasn't. I mean, there was
Mhm.
many years we had a good time in our marriage, right? We were,
Yeah.
in tune with each other for a period of time. But I just I just want people to know you have to know who you are. You have to try to figure it out. And that's why I'm so strong on helping married women help them through their process, through their journey, because we have to figure it out. If we want to be happy, if we want to build ourselves up and then build our marriage up, we have to know who we are. We truly do.
You got that right. You got that right. Now, there's one thing that I hear so often, and I kind of cringe every time. What do you say to someone who tells you, we just grew apart? Is that
Well, and but that can be a true statement because they allowed themselves to grow apart.
Mhm.
Okay. When you are not trying to connect and trying to understand each other, you can grow apart, but that's because you stop trying. You stop being concerned about the other person. So
Yes.
that is where that disconnection comes in at, because we feel like, well, I don't feel like trying. I don't want to try. I don't care anymore. But it becomes, well, why you don't care? What's going on with you? What are you allowing that to happen, that person might have said or did to you, to totally affect you in this way? So we always have to look at ourselves and question ourselves as to what part we played in it. And that's why I was telling you
Mhm.
earlier
That part.
that, right, that I had to look at myself and I had to realize that my controlling was affecting my marriage and my children. It took me
Mhm.
a long time to get there, don't get me wrong. It took me a long time to get there, but once I got there, it was like, oh my goodness, some of this craziness is my fault, you know?
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
have to take ownership of your
Introspect is your
part.
friend, man. In any
Hello?
relationship, any interaction you have with another human being, you got to look within,
Yes, you do. You do.
especially
And
when
I,
you had the
I
same
take
issue
your
with two
part.
people.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It
But the
might be
difference is
you.
but one of the things that I have to say is I want you to look within, but I also want you to not point fingers, because we're very good at pointing fingers and looking
Oh
at
yeah.
the other person and blaming the other person for what's happening in the relationship, instead of looking at ourselves and wondering, okay, what can I do differently to change the dynamic of the relationship,
Yes, for sure.
irregardless of whether that other person is doing it or not, right?
Right. And that I agree wholeheartedly. When my husband decided he wasn't going to therapy, I still went, and
Yep,
I
yep.
did the work on me.
There you go.
And that rascal didn't even recognize that I had took pictures off of the wall and start sending stuff to my mama. And I just moved. I left. I left. So, yeah, when you're so self-absorbed that you won't look at how you're treating the other person, how you're making somebody feel,
Yeah.
man, you gonna miss it. I gave big
Oh,
clues.
yeah.
Hey,
Well,
Nene.
my ex-husband truly misses me. Well, he did. Let me just put it that way because, you know, I did a lot more than what he thought I did, so
Yeah, yeah, and that's we spoil our men, and then they
yeah,
take it for granted,
yes.
and they don't oh, wait a minute. I haven't washed my clothes in 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you mean groceries don't just appear in the house?
Mm.
Oh, wait a minute. I got collar stays. I mean, like all the little things that we do, we
I
pay
know.
attention.
I know.
Us good. I'm going to put myself in this category. Us good wives.
Yes, there you
We pay
go.
attention to all the little details. You don't have to need anything. You ain't been to Sears and JC Penney in 10 years. I do everything. You miss me. Yes.
But I have
And
to
I'm not
say,
married. I'm not married anymore. But yeah,
I have
I
to
was
say,
that way.
my husband spoils me rotten. Like, I don't go to the grocery
I love
store.
that.
He goes to the grocery store. He cooks. I don't have to cook. He just does everything, and
When is his
I
course
love
coming out?
it. And
You
I'm
hear me? When is his
contemplating.
class coming out? I need that man to teach the
Because he recognizes he has a good woman. And that is the part that men miss out on, right? They miss out on the fact that they have a good woman. And the better you treat that woman, the better she will treat you. And that's the bottom line.
absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely.
Yes, yes.
Woo. Hey,
So my
Reggie.
husband spoils me rotten and I love it. And I spoil him
Aw,
back. I spoil him back. So
that's good. That's
we
good.
take care of each other.
I can't wait to well, yes, I can wait. I have choices. I'm not rushing into anything.
I hear you. I hear you.
Ah, now something that I want to pivot a little bit because you have some other remarkable things that you've shared with me. Your family. Now, your brother has an interesting story. He was on death row for what, 17 years?
17 and a half years. Yeah. Yeah.
That is remarkable all by itself. I would love to talk to him on the show. Um, Tell me how he ended up not on death row because most people that's not a round trip ticket.
Well, he
So
had excellent, well, I should say he had excellent lawyers that worked really hard to find out the truth. And they were able to get him a new trial. So he was able to be taken off of death row. And then in the final analysis, he was able to walk home with no,
exonerated. My
yeah,
God, listen, ask
God
him if
is
he would be,
good. I'm
maybe
telling you.
watching. Ask him if he would be willing to come on to the Blowing Bubbles podcast. One of my most passionate issues is prison reform, inmate support, anti-recidivism. That is a big, big, big deal for me.
Hmm.
And I would love and be honored if he would talk to me.
I'll ask him. I'll definitely ask him. He's and actually this is what he's doing now. His lawyer. Let me tell y'all, this woman, she's a federal lawyer. She is the best lawyer ever.
What's her
Like
name? Can you shout her out?
her name is Erin Barnhart. She is
Erin
amazing.
Barnhart.
Yes,
Salute
because
to you for
she
doing the work.
girl, we are so grateful for her because once she got him out, she could have went on about her business, but no, she works with him to help him have speaking events where he goes and speaks to people about what happened with him and how it has affected him, how it has affected his family, and he's been so many places because of her
Mm.
to talk about his story.
Wow.
And Erin is amazing. I'm telling you, for a federal lawyer, she did her job. She got him out of prison, and she is still right there. She's like our family member, right? She's a
Wow.
family member. She is just so close to the family, and we're so
That's
excited.
almost unheard of. I
Yes,
love that.
it
Oh,
is.
wow.
She's amazing, absolutely amazing.
Um,
So
I'm
she
blown
is
away.
keeping my
17
brother
and a
going.
half years.
Yeah, that's a
Whew.
long time he was on death row. But you know what? One of the things that he's very appreciative of is how his family helped take care of him the whole time he was there. The support he
Mhm.
got from the family was huge. And for anybody that has family members that are in prison or on death row, it is crucial to keep that connection going because
Yes.
that's what kept him sane, is
Yes.
knowing that his family was supporting him, accepting phone calls, sending, care packages, going to visit, taking care of his children.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so
All of
it's
the
a
above.
lot. Yeah, it was a lot, and we were right
Mm.
there with him. So if anybody has people that are in prison, please support them because they need it. They
They
really do
do.
need the support.
They do. I don't know if he's still doing it, but my oldest son had a program that he was doing, sending books to
Mm,
inmates and just helping them keep their mind sharp, being some, and he was sending them to a prison where the death row is at,
mm,
because so many of those men don't have any hope.
right,
And just
right.
that mental escape that they get during that time while they're reading those books is
Hmm. Hmm.
crucial, and it can help them remain human in their mind because they're in inhumane conditions. So
Exactly. Yeah.
um, I'm working with somebody now. We're putting together a documentary, um, and doing a a pilot program. We've got a pilot program for prisons. That's an exclusive, y'all. I can't give you many more details, but this is really a thing that I am super passionate about, and it's hit my family for generations, not
Hmm.
just current, but prison and sentence reform is a big, big, big thing. Judicial discretion.
Mm,
There's it is impossible as long as a judge has the cloak of judicial discretion, it's impossible to challenge their biases.
sure.
They can absolutely have a bias against you. They can be total bigots.
Right.
They can just hate your last name. They could hate
Yep.
that you have braids in your hair. Anything.
Yep.
Anything. They could hate people from the South Side. And they could impose these harsh sentences for the same crime that someone else committed, and they gave a very light sentence. But because of these ranges and all these things, and that phrase, judicial discretion,
Hmm.
it's a it's a problem to eradicate that bias.
Yeah,
um
it is. Yeah, we had a horrible prosecutor, and he had a three-judge panel, which was something he shouldn't have had. He had a lawyer that we found out during the trial that he was going to prison for fraud. So he
wait,
wasn't
wait
paying
a minute,
attention to
your
the
brother's
case.
your brother's attorney was
Yes,
he ended up going to prison.
he went to prison. Yep,
Oh
he went to
my
prison
gosh.
for fraud for a year. Yeah. So we didn't know this when he took the case, but we found out
Oh,
about it almost at the end of the case, and I'm questioning him about witnesses and all this, was trying to understand why he wasn't doing his job, and come to find out because he was worried about his own life, his
his own
own
case,
thing that he
yes.
had to go to prison over.
OMG.
Yeah, girl, this could be a book. Let me tell you, my
It
brother's
should be
life
a
story
book.
could be a book. I'm
I
telling you.
need I need I need your brother on here. I need him. I know
Okay.
he's probably traveling the country getting a lot of speaking engagements, but the Blowing Bubbles podcast needs your story. I just This is near and dear to my heart. Like my family has had members executed by the
Oh
state.
my goodness. Oh wow.
Yeah. Um
Mm,
yeah, so it is it's incredible how the impact that it has on the
everyone.
family,
Yes.
everyone,
Everyone.
not just the victim side, you
Mm-mm.
know.
Mm.
So yeah, yeah, I definitely, this is my space. This is all the way my space. Woo, Lord, I wasn't even thinking that it was gonna. I knew I was gonna mention it, but I I'm sweating now, and whew,
Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot,
it
and it's
is a
very
lot.
emotional. It's emotional, and I'm just so grateful to Jehovah God that he's out. You know, no more
Yes.
worrying
Now,
if
how long
he's
ago was he released?
over a year ago. It was a year
Okay,
in June. Yeah, so he's
so
been out for
17 and a half years. That 1 year is still fairly new. Whew.
yeah, it's new. It's new,
Oh
and
my goodness.
it's caused a lot of issues. You know, he has PTSD from it. You
Of
know, it,
course.
it has a lot of things that affect him that we take for granted. You know, just reacclimating yourself to society is a big thing. You know,
Yes. You can
it's
miss your child's whole life. Like
yeah,
you can
his
go away with
children.
the child and come home with grandchildren if the right
There you
timeline.
go. That's exactly it. His child, his youngest daughter, she was 9 months when he went to prison. So
Oh wow.
that whole
So she never
time,
really knew her father, and he
we
was,
made sure she knew him.
I
We
mean,
made
out
sure.
knew him in the out in her
Right, in
life
that
in that
environment, yeah, but
capacity.
not out, right?
Yeah.
So I totally agree, you know, but we made sure that she knew
Mhm.
him, you know. We,
Yeah.
you know, when she was old enough, we took her to go see him, and he would talk to her on the phone all the time. You know, he wrote her letters and sent her stuff as the years went that went by. So he made sure that that connection stayed, you know, and he did that with all his kids. So
Mhm.
he made sure that they knew who he was, even though he was in prison. So
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Well, God bless your family. I'm so glad that, that's another man, another brother who didn't fall victim, because some people don't have the resources to get an attorney, and when they do get an attorney, the attorney is not necessarily going hard on the mat to
right,
actually exonerate their name.
right.
A lot of them get cleared posthumously,
Mm-hmm.
after they've been executed, or after they died in prison.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
now we want to examine DNA evidence that you had all along.
Right.
All of these things. There's way too many cases um where the finger gets pointed at the wrong person, and overzealous prosecutors are just eager to send somebody down. So here we go. And I don't know, the details of his case, but it just happens way too often, and I'm just grateful that at least one more came home.
Yes, me too. I'm very grateful. Very grateful, believe me. But it's a lot of stuff that happens in the judicial system that is so wrong, you
Mhm.
know. Even with one of the people he knew in prison, he was accused of killing someone, but he wasn't. They found out later that he wasn't the one who did it, but they still wanted to punish him. So he was from Jordan, and they sent him back to. He had been in this country for 25 years, and the condition for him to get out was they had to send him back to Jordan. He didn't know anybody in Jordan, and
Wow.
the family uh, of the person they're saying he killed, even though he was exonerated, the family there still believes he killed them. So the family is hunting him down, and he's trying to figure out. He's in
Oh,
hiding, and he's trying to figure out what to do, where to go, because you know.
wow.
And so My brother has a GoFundMe fund, and this other guy, he had a GoFundMe fund, and so we found out about his history, and we've been trying to support him as well, trying to help him with funds, with
Mhm.
being able to survive in an environment that he's just not used to at all. So
Yeah. Wow.
it's a
That
lot.
is
It's a lot of stuff that happens, and if you're doing this, you already know that there's a lot of negative things that happen in the judicial system that, especially for Black and Brown people, um, that
absolutely.
really is horrible.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
works with a death row advocate group that helps, and he goes to speaking events with them, so
Mhm.
it makes a
Whew.
difference.
Okay. Well, I want to make sure that people hold your book up again, please. People can see your book, and where can they find that? Unspoken Words, the unresolved conflicts can erode a lifetime of love. Where can people order that book from?
You can go to Amazon and Deborah Barnes Hamilton, or you can get a signed copy, a pre-ordered signed copy from me. You can go to Nurture Your Love, and it's on my website where you can actually get a signed copy from me. So either place,
Nice.
you'll be able to find the book.
Nurtureyourlove.com.
Yeah.
And is that the same place people will go to, what married women will go to join your community?
Yeah, my Married Women's Forum, and it's bi-weekly on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. And for the married women on here, it is a great group of women, and you won't regret joining it. And tonight was actually a free night, so um, we didn't do this before, but I would have told everybody tonight was a free night where anybody could come in and check it out. But we do that sometimes where we just allow other women to come in. But it's a great group of women. It's a great group. We learn from each other. I'm the expert. I'm the facilitator, but I learn from the women as well. So we
Mhm.
can all learn from each other. So come and join
Nice.
us and have a good time. Yeah.
Nice. Well, make sure you shoot me a text when you're going to have a free another free night for the group,
I
and
will.
I would love to tap in, and I will definitely share with my audience. And I will definitely, you definitely shoot me a text when you talk to your brother. I'm definitely interested in
Okay, I
sitting,
will.
having to sit down with him. Um, and in closing, tell people where they can find you, follow you, and support you.
I am on Instagram as Nurture Your Love. I am on Facebook, my Married Women's Forum uh, Facebook group is Married Women's Forum. And of course, Deborah Barnes Hamilton for a regular Facebook group. So LinkedIn, Deborah B. Hamilton on LinkedIn. So
I'm
just
trying to keep my laptop
Deborah
from
B. Hamilton or Deborah Barnes Hamilton, you can find me. So come check me out, y'all. Come check me out.
my laptop almost died on me. All right. Thank you so very much for joining. Ladies and gentlemen, I have enjoyed speaking to her. I hope you have enjoyed the conversation. None of you have asked a question. I know there's some folks, and there's a bunch of married people on here. We gotta start joining in and engaging in these conversations because she has way too much wisdom for us to not, engage in this dialogue with this woman. Now, make sure you go to YouTube, subscribe on the Blowing Bubbles Podcast YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell so you get all the updates when we drop new content. There's a lot of content on there that is not on live. I am doing pre recorded episodes now. We're on Spotify. Make sure you're going to we're on all the platforms, but Spotify and YouTube is what I'm pushing. Okay. Okay. Make sure you go check out nurtureyourlove.com. And as always, stay popping.
Thank you for having me, Corona. Thank you.
You're welcome. I so enjoyed you. And